Clint Eastwood has seen it all, from spaghetti westerns to Oscar-winning dramas. But what movies does he personally call masterpieces? And which ones does he think were disasters? Stick around. You might be surprised by what made his list and what didn't. With over 6 decades in Hollywood, Clint Eastwood's taste carries weight. He's directed over 40 films, acted in more than 70, and earned a reputation for blunt honesty. From high art cinema to gritty genre work, these are 8 films Eastwood considers true masterpieces, and 2 he outright hates. 1. The Oxbow Incident, 1943. Set in Nevada during the late 1800s, this haunting Western follows a posse that captures 3 men suspected of cattle rustling. What unfolds is a terrifying descent into mob justice. The film is minimal, dialogue-driven, and morally devastating. No shootouts, just consequences. Eastwood has called the Oxbow Incident the kind of Western that haunts you. He admired how it stripped away heroism and focused on ethics and guilt, something he mirrored in Unforgiven. For him, it was proof that Westerns could be thoughtful and tragic. 2. The Bicycle Thieves, 1948. This Italian neo-realist drama follows a poor father in post-war Rome desperately searching for his stolen bicycle, his only means of employment. It's a heartbreaking portrait of survival and dignity on the brink. Eastwood has praised The Bicycle Thieves as honest and human. He said it influenced how he approached emotional storytelling, especially in films like $1 Million Baby. He admired how a simple story could hit with such emotional force without melodrama. 3. Shane, 1953. A mysterious gunslinger helps a small Wyoming family fight off greedy landowners. As violence brews, Shane bonds with a young boy who idolizes him. The final shot, Shane riding off into the distance, became iconic in film history. Eastwood once said Shane was quiet, clean, and powerful. He was influenced by its tone when making Pale Rider. For him, the character of Shane represented a dying kind of man, part hero, part ghost, which inspired much of his own Western myth-making. 4. The Bridges of Madison County, 1995. Set in 1960s Iowa, the film follows a brief but passionate affair between a housewife and a traveling photographer. The story unfolds through letters discovered years later. It's tender, slow-burning, and emotionally raw. He directed and starred in this himself and called it one of his most personal works. Eastwood admired the quiet ache of the story. He believed in its honesty and restraint, often saying it was one of the only films where he cried reading the script. 5. The Battle of Algiers, 1966. A gritty documentary-style war film chronicling the Algerian struggle against French colonial rule. It's intense, politically charged, and refuses to take sides, presenting violence as both a weapon and a burden. Eastwood studied the Battle of Algiers for its realism when preparing American Sniper. He praised its raw, almost journalistic clarity and how it humanized both sides of the conflict. For him, it proved that war films didn't need flag-waving to be powerful. 6. The Searchers, 1956. John Wayne plays a hardened Civil War veteran who spends years searching for his kidnapped niece, but his obsession slowly turns into a dangerous fixation. Monument Valley and themes of racism, vengeance, and isolation make it one of the most studied Westerns ever made. Eastwood calls The Searchers one of the greatest Westerns ever. He admired its complexity, especially how it portrayed Wayne's character as both a savior and a monster. Eastwood borrowed its visual tone and moral ambiguity for Unforgiven and Gran Torino. 7. Yojimbo, 1961. Akira Kurosawa's samurai classic follows a lone ronin who manipulates 2 rival gangs in a corrupt village. Fast-paced, witty, and brutal, it later inspired Eastwood's A Fistful of Dollars. Eastwood has often credited Yojimbo for teaching him the value of silence and visual storytelling. He praised Toshiro Mifune's performance as the template for The Man with No Name. Without Yojimbo, Eastwood's entire spaghetti Western legacy might not exist. 8. The 400 Blows, 1959. François Truffaut's French New Wave masterpiece captures the troubled life of a boy navigating a harsh world of neglect and rebellion. It ends with one of cinema's most famous freeze frames. Eastwood praised The 400 Blows for its realism and poetic sadness. He said it reminded him of the importance of small human stories told with grace. It's the kind of film that doesn't hit you with spectacle, but lingers for a lifetime. Now it's time for the twist. The two films Clint Eastwood actually dislikes. 9. Heaven's Gate, 1880. Heaven's Gate is a sprawling Western epic that chronicles the class warfare and bloodshed between European immigrants and wealthy landowners in 1890s Wyoming. Directed by Michael Cimino, the film features a troubled production with a notorious over-budget situation and an extended runtime of over 3 hours. It was met with harsh criticism and remains infamous for its failure, eventually bankrupting United Artists. Why does Eastwood hate it? Eastwood described Heaven's Gate as indulgent and bloated, criticizing its self-indulgence and lack of narrative focus. He found the film's over-stylized approach to be at odds with what a Western should represent. Gritty realism. For Eastwood, a successful Western had to be sharp and purposeful, not overly adorned or meandering. Heaven's Gate was a prime example of excess without substance. 10. Natural Born Killers, 1994. Natural Born Killers, directed by Oliver Stone, is a controversial, hyper-stylized film about two lovers who embark on a killing spree across the American South. With its chaotic editing, satirical commentary, and over-the-top violence, the film critiques the media's obsession with sensationalism. While divisive, it's recognized for its unique visual style and its attack on the glorification of violence in the media. Eastwood says Natural Born Killers for being irresponsible and ugly, condemning the film's glamorization of violence and its chaotic, attention-seeking style. Known for his more grounded and impactful portrayals of violence, Eastwood felt Natural Born Killers lacked purpose and was simply provocative for the sake of provocation. To him, the film was an empty spectacle, devoid of meaning. Clint Eastwood's opinions don't follow trends. He values story, realism, and purpose over style or spectacle. Whether you agree with his picks or not, they reveal a director and actor with a deep respect for meaningful cinema. If you enjoyed this list, hit that like button, share it with your fellow film buffs, and don't forget to subscribe for more hard-hitting breakdowns. Got a favorite film Eastwood loved or hated? Drop it in the comments below.